the decisions that you make affect generations, and you will have no idea the ripple effect. Imagine God watching this and going, yes, what is gonna happen? Because this couple who had no idea what their yes was gonna do. And because of that, this happened, and this happened, and this happened.
Your blended family has a 100% chance of success when you do it God's way. We're Blended Kingdom Families, and we want to provide biblical resources to heal and restore families with a message of hope for the next generation.
Hey guys, welcome back to the BKF podcast. We are not alone today. We've got some amazing guests with us, and we're just excited you're here. If you haven't had an opportunity yet, please take this opportunity and like, share, comment, subscribe,
all the things.
Send us a letter, any way you want to connect with us, we are here. So you can email us at info@blendedkingdomfamilies.com. We would love to hear from you. And today we're going to be talking to some really just close, special people to us.
Absolutely. And you guys, some of y'all know them. You may have even talked to them on the phone. We have Scott and Lindsay Schmitz, and they have been longtime partners of the ministry, but they're not just partners, they're friends of ours. They are also a part of the BKF team. And I just want to tell you a little bit about them. We love them so much, but they recently celebrated their 7th year wedding anniversary. So congratulations, guys. 7. It's a big year.
Remember they told us when we first started counseling,
it's year 3.
If you make it, is
year
it 3?
It's 3.
Oh, that was 7.
No, it's
you
year
guys
3.
are doing great.
Yes. So congratulations. What Scott was saying is our marriage counselor had said it's like once you make it past year 3, like your chances of like non-divorce go up significantly.
Yeah.
So we're all doing good.
7, so
yeah. Hey, you're like double and beyond. So, but they have been together for over a decade. So married 7 years now, been together for over a decade. They are a double blended family with 3 teenage daughters, and they They have a parenting plan across 3 states. And we're actually going to talk about that today because I know that there are a lot of blended families that deal with that and the challenges and the ups and downs that come along with that. Lindsay is currently working to complete her master's degree in leadership and ministry. Scott has been leading in the Army for nearly 20 years, and we are so grateful for both of you guys and your service to our country. So we say thank you both so much, and we just honor y'all. And they are also blended and redeemed group leaders. They're BKF coaches. So if you need coaching or if you want to start a group, these are the people you need to connect with, y'all. And they are our group coordinators for the ministry. So Scott and Lindsay, welcome. We're glad to have you guys on.
Thanks. We're excited to be here.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, we kind of went through the X's and O's, but tell us a little bit more about you, your family, what you guys enjoy doing. Just kind of give us an overall introduction.
Like Vanessa was saying, we've been married for some time now. And we are parenting. We have 3 teenage daughters.
So pray for us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Parenting in a few different states, between Michigan, Illinois, and then Tennessee here.
We play a lot of Monopoly.
Really?
Yes.
That is
Family thing. Yeah.
very much our family. Family time is a lot of Monopoly.
We have a closet full of different types of Monopolies and
Probably
love
over 60 different boards now.
That's awesome.
Okay, that's unique.
I like that. Well, I always see Lindsay's stories on social media, and it's like it's a different theme Monopoly. I'm like, this is so cool.
Love it. Love it. Love it. And anything else you guys want to kind of divulge about yourself? Just anything that you think the audience would want to know?
That's hard. There's so much about us.
Being in the military makes it unique. The parenting, I don't want to get into too much right now because I know some of the questions later will be kind of towards that. But being in the military and in the Army telling us kind of where to go at times and where I'm going. However, we have parenting plans and legal documents that can prevent some of that.
Yeah.
So that makes it a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
We have been blessed to be able to stay at this one station our entire marriage.
Yeah.
So
We recently crossed the threshold that we've actually been in the same house longer than the Army has had us separated during our marriage.
Wow. Okay.
Like the first half of our marriage, he was deployed like every other year.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we were long distance for like the first year that we were married. So that was fun.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I
Okay.
remember when we first met you guys, and if you're watching or listening, Scott and Lindsay did the Blended Kingdom Project, which was a part of us writing the book, Blended and Redeemed. And there's, I think, some quotes in there from Scott and Lindsay as well, and they have a part in it. But when we met you guys, Scott, you were deployed at that time. I remember that. Because when we did our interview, you were in a different country.
Yeah, trying to figure out time zones and stuff. Yeah, and now we're close. He retires this year, so we're excited to start a new chapter for our family.
That's exciting.
That's
That's
incredible.
exciting, guys. That's awesome. No, I love that. And, one of the things that we want to talk about today is, we're going to have Scott and Lindsay on for 2 episodes, you guys. And one, we're going to talk about co-parenting and how they mentioned that they parent across 3 different states. But the other one is talking about groups and coaching and community, because not only do you guys, are you guys a part of it, but you guys lead in this. And so you've been on both sides of it. And so from your perspective, you guys, how can being a part of a group or community help couples navigate blended family challenges and build stronger, healthier relationships? Y'all, and they're the gurus at this, so y'all listen and take notes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, community is definitely our platform. We are all about blended families community is important for everybody, but especially in a blended family, even more so in the church, because it can feel really isolating, which just leads to then more issues in your marriage and in your family when you feel like nobody else understands and you're the only one struggling through these problems. And, if you don't have a blended support group, then you have people who are sharing advice that oftentimes, even though it's said with love and the best of intentions, it's not helpful. It can be hurtful because it just leads to more frustrations. And so having a community, and that's always our favorite part of the first night of small group, is when people come in, they're like, I didn't know other people felt this way. I thought it was just me.
Yes.
I don't want, I could talk all day long about blended family.
Probably gonna be less movement. But I mean, that's what I was gonna say, is just the knowing there's other people out there with similar struggles. Obviously, everybody's blend is a little bit different in their all the details, but for the most part, it's all similar struggles, and just knowing somebody is going through something similar is very comforting.
Yeah.
And like I've said in the past, is that initial email or that first group, like Lindsay just said, and them finding out that there is a group for us, for them, is just, it's amazing to read their excitement in that initial email, or hear it in that phone call, or when we see them in that first group. So,
well, and then it also leads to having, when you have somebody else that you can go to who's maybe already gone through the season that you're coming into, just to see, okay, hey, here's some encouragement, here's some help. How can we cover you in prayer? People who have been through it, their prayers just hit a little different because they remember. And so when they're praying and they're encouraging you, they're speaking directly into that based off of what they went through and what they realized through there. And just having that community, it's a huge game changer for your marriage, for your family as a whole, and even for the kids to have other people that understand what it's like to have a mom's house and a dad's house, and having to schedule play dates and birthday parties around that.
Yeah.
No, I think it's incredible. And I love that you find that kind of spark of enjoyment and fulfillment. I've seen that many times, where it's that first meeting, it's that first glimpse of people who think or maybe feel similar to what I do. And I think that that's incredible. I will say, just to kind of catch people up who maybe are listening to this and are like, what exactly are they talking about? I want to make, I want to make sure that I kind of feed into that, because you guys do a wonderful job with out front leading and getting this out there. The blended in the groups that we're talking about, this all comes from our book, Blended and Redeemed, which has also a study guide component to that, which lends to small group meetings. And most of our groups do meet inside churches. There's groups all over the United States.
Homes. Yeah.
And really what it takes is a couple who wants to lead in that way, and then they connect with us as a ministry. They go to their church and they get connected, and they start a group inside their church where people can come and be equipped and supported. That's what you guys do. So I love that you guys get to be really on the ground with families, and supporting them.
Lindsay and Scott were our very first group leaders. So as soon as the book came out, they were like, Lindsay, I think she was the first one to purchase, she was like, I just ordered $10 off Amazon, and they gave them to people that came over. And I love their joy, and that love them so much. But they started leading a group, you guys, out of their home. And Lindsay and Scott, y'all can speak into this, but it just grew and grew. And then it's multiplied. So now, like, out of y'all's group, other groups at the church, like y'all speak to that and tell kind of like a little bit about how that's gone.
So initially we had a blended family small group. We wanted to start that shortly after the BKF project went on, and then we started a small group within our church, just meeting and going through some other curriculum. And then we found out the book was coming out, so we as soon as that came out and we were able to get it in hand, we started that book with our already established small group,
which was at that point was like 5 couples.
Mm-hmm.
So
but then
500 couples, that's 6 adults plus all of the accompanying children in our home. It was very crowded.
Pretty cool. So we went through the book, and we just realized, like, this is such a good book, and such a good just the curriculum, everything in it was so good. We didn't want to keep it just for our small group. We wanted to get it out there and be able to help more families.
Well, and once we started the book, we still had so many more people who were trying to join the small group at our house, but you can only fit so many people in a house, especially when you let people bring their kids. And where it was crazy. And then once we started going through the book, we're like, okay, we can't let anybody else in. Not because we didn't want to, but because
all the foundations of the book.
The start of the book is so foundational. You really have to go through the book beginning to end to get the most benefit. And we're like, you can't jump in the middle of the book. You're going to miss the other half.
Yeah.
That's good.
And we struggled with that, to have that line and be like, hey, I'm so sorry you can't join us right now. But then,
which is what led to some of the other groups starting as well later.
Yeah. But then we went to our church and we talked to them about, hey, this is what we're seeing happen in these small groups or in these meetings at our house. Like, we had one couple who we had no idea that they were actually living separate, ready to file divorce papers. And they were like, this was our last ditch effort. And then after going through the book, and just finding community and being around other people, they are living in the same house. They're married, like, their marriage is blossoming right now. And it's because they had community and they had that godly resource and the book and everything that it just brings to light, and the way that it's designed for those conversations to take place and shift your perspective and all of that. So taking that to the church and being like, hey, we have all these other people who want to join us, and this is what we're seeing come out of this group. They were like, okay, let's start. So yes, the book came out every fall and spring. Our church has led it, and frequently we are on a wait list within a couple weeks.
Wow.
So
then
incredible.
Last year we tried to combat the wait list, and so Lindsay and I kind of decided after week 3 or 4 is when we had to kind of cut it off. And there always seems to be one family, and that just needs to be there, and they find their way in.
Yeah.
Definitely a God thing. But so we started the wait list, and then we found another couple that was willing to step up, and we started them a few weeks after our group started.
Yeah.
And then we were able to pick up the waitlisted folks, and
so
I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing. We have couples every semester who drive from the towns around us an hour to come to small group.
Wow.
Because that's something where they are.
Or other churches within the city.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. That's awesome.
So I want to ask a kind of a different type of question. because I know there are people who are watching this and they're like, oh, that sounds really cool. I'd like to do that. But there's a trigger event that says, I'm interested versus I'm ready to implement. So my question really to you is, if somebody's on the couch watching this going, that sounds like a really good idea. I think people in our community would need that. I hope somebody does it. And then versus I need to do this because God's called me to do this. Mm-hmm. What encouragement would you give a couple that's sitting on the fence going, maybe?
The calling on your heart of seeing the need in the community, just sitting there saying, we need this. Somebody should do it. That's your sign. That's God telling you it needs to happen. And step up and accept the calling.
Yeah. And BKF, like, the team is so great. There's so many resources, and BKF prays over all the things. And then Scott and I, of course, are happy to get on a call. That's our role on the team is video chats and calls and emails to answer all those questions. And before we started, I was ready. I was the one who was like, okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. And Scott was like, no, I need all the answers. I was like, we're never going to have all the answers. You never have all the answers. You kind of learn as you go. And we've led it, 7, 8 times now. And every time we get ready, we're like a little bit nervous, you're like, okay, can we do this? But you pray and there's just something so rewarding about stepping out even into the unknown. The labors are few and the work is plenty. And like, that's so the case with blended families. And you can't keep waiting for somebody else to do the thing for you because somebody's waiting on you to step up.
And
if we didn't step up and accept the yes or accept the calling, that first family may not have, may still be in the living separate state, or each group, there's been somebody who had something significant that they said, this group, this community, the people around here have just helped us fix our marriage.
That's amazing. I think, just being a part of group and community, and we've been in community groups before in different seasons of our lives, and it really does make the difference because there's accountability there. There's also just that it's like it's like Moses and Aaron, like you need people to like lift up your arms in different seasons. And sometimes you're the one lifting people up. And so having those like-minded friends, but also people who have been that have walked those roads, and like you said earlier, Lindsay, like maybe they've walked one that you're entering in, or it's vice versa, or maybe you haven't even yet, and there's someone in your group that has, and there's going to be a time down the road where you might experience that or know somebody who does, and then you can speak into that as well. I know not only are Scott and Lindsay BKF group leaders, but they're also coaches, and I think that a part of the coaching experience too, I love it because you get this one-on-one ministering with couples and with individuals, and it's just so intimate, and you get this front row seat to what people are experiencing, and you get to walk with them through that. And so kind of speak into that a little bit, you guys. When couples engage in group setting, or whether it's like in a coaching session, what are some key benefits they receive both spiritually and practically from your viewpoint as leaders and coaches? What would you say?
I think the biggest thing that you get is just somebody else who is not only praying for your success in your marriage, but is speaking that into you, and then holds you accountable to what God has said and like the priorities that the Bible has for us, because that's a game changer. And it's not, let's sit here and focus on your feelings, but it's, okay, let's recognize that. And then how can we move forward? And then what does God say about that? What does the Bible say? And how can you take this and then build your family off of that? And where is your focus in that? And is it your issue right now? Is this a flesh thing? Or, where is the struggle? Because especially in a world right now where everything is like, oh, do your best, live your best life. Like, that's not biblical, and that's not subscribing to that mindset. And it's so poured into us in social media and just culture. Like, that's not the way forward, and that's not the way to build a strong marriage. So when you're in coaching or in small groups like this, you're getting the viewpoint of somebody who truly cares about you, but they're Bible focused and they're God focused. And let's put God first and figure out from there how we can move forward. And what does God say about you as an individual? And what does God say about your marriage and your family? And where is your focus and your priorities? And but then also you get people who are speaking into a situation out of a place of neutrality.
Yeah.
You're sharing your thing, he's sharing his thing, and then let's see, what are you both actually saying? Because sometimes, in a situation, my feelings might be coloring what I'm saying or what I'm hearing, and his feelings might be coloring what he's saying or what he's hearing. And so having someone neutral who can look at that and who's praying before your session and during your session uses discernment and can go, you know what? You guys are saying the same thing. You're just saying it differently.
Yeah.
Or where's the middle ground here? How can we bring you both together on this?
Yeah.
No, I love that. I love coaching. I think it's, having been a counselor for 20 years, I love coaching because it is a little bit more directive in nature. And you can kind of really get to the core of an issue and go, hey, this is an action you probably don't need to take, or this is an action you do need to take. And it does base a lot off of our life experience. And I love that you two have a unique life that is paralleled and also adaptable to a lot of different people. In our next episode, we're going to talk about how you guys co-parent over 3 different states. And that's in itself an experience that other blended families are navigating and they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And no better way to learn than to walk behind somebody who just walked in front of you and to say, I've walked this path. I'm not saying it's exactly what you'll walk, but these are the landmines that I stepped on. And this is what I wish I wouldn't have said. And this is what I wish I would have done. And I think blended families, there's so many decisions that have to be made, and a lot of that will determine your success. And so having a coach that can walk you through that is it's just a powerful tool. And I think, I love that you guys have this life experience, because I think that's what people gravitate to and they will adapt to, just in the same way Vanessa and I have our life experience and our other coaches have theirs. So I love that you guys are being obedient to this and saying, hey, let us help. Because Scott, to your point, I want to just draw it back here. You're exactly right. If you had not chose to do this, that couple would have gone down a different road. The decisions that you make affect generations, and you will have no idea the ripple effect. You just don't. I mean, imagine God watching this and going, yes, what is going to happen? Because this couple who had no idea what their yes was going to do. And because of that, this happened and this happened and this happened. And so I love those concepts. I mean, that's just part of, that's the geek out in me. I love that we get to be a part of that. So cool.
No, that was really good. I mean, and I one of the questions on here was, what are some ways couples who have received help from coaching or groups can give back to others in the community? And I think it's like what you guys are doing, we didn't have coaching or, groups prior to us meeting Scott and Lindsay, because they've been around since the beginning. I mean, like year 1 BKF launch, like 2020, they were there. And so I think Scott and Lindsay were like the 5th couple we interviewed for the Blended Kingdom Project. And so, I think what I love is that we go through these different things in our life and have these experiences. And I think understanding we have authority in those areas, because there's things that you guys have experienced that Scott and I haven't, and vice versa. And there's families in y'all's groups that you've had and in your coaching. And it's like, okay, I've gone through this. I've experienced this. Now, God, allow me to be an instrument of peace to your people, and where is it that I can give back? And maybe it's, you start with co-leading a group. Maybe you're sitting here and you're like, I know our community needs a group. I've never led a group. I'm not confident, but let me find another couple who maybe has led a group. Tag team up, be co-leaders and let another couple lead first and then follow behind them and do it. Yeah. If you've never experienced coaching, get in it yourself. And then if you're like, hey, I really loved coaching, I think that I could do this one day and encourage others and help others and things like that. There are so many different ways that you can give back as the Lord has given to you through other people. And so if you're watching this or listening, I would just encourage you to pray about that. And you guys, if y'all have questions and you want to speak to Scott and Lindsay, email us at info@blendedkingdomfamilies.com and we will connect you with them. And they can get you connected in so many different ways and get the ball rolling. Get you plugged in. Okay, you guys. So this is the last question. We ask this to all of our podcast guests, but the name of the ministry is Blended Kingdom Families. So what is a blended kingdom family to you?
Lots of different things. It's excitement. It's a variety. I think what my shirt says is a huge one. Redeemed.
Yeah. I think a blended kingdom family is a family that's just working together against all the odds to stay united and working to keep their eyes on Christ and just having fun as they go and, rolling with the punches.
I love it.
Oh, I love that. And we love you guys. And so, again, you guys, if you're interested, if you've been listening and watching this today and you would like more information, just reach out to Blended Kingdom Families at info@blendedkingdomfamilies.com, and we can get you connected to Scott and Lindsay if you want to be in a group, lead a group, or get some information about coaching as well. But Scott and Lindsay, thank you so much for joining us today, you guys. I know we're going to see you again for another episode here in just a little bit, but
yeah, it's going to be great. And if you're wanting more, we are about to dive in with them on how to co-parent across different states. And I know people are dealing with that. Yes. So get ready. We will be back with another episode with Scott and Lindsay. You guys, thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful day, okay?
Be blessed in all that you do. Hey friends, so glad you were here with us today, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. You can find more resources from Blended Kingdom Families at blendedkingdomfamilies.com. Join us again next time as we talk about more blended family topics. Be blessed in all that you do, and remember, nothing will be impossible with God.